From stories across the globe to stories here at home, this is the National News Broadcast. A very good evening to you. I'm Sharifa Tahir.
A very good evening. I'm Lakshita Singha, and to start off, we take a quick look at the headlines for tonight. A drug smuggling woman alleged to have transacted around 10 million rupees via bank accounts over the past few days arrested. The final Perahera of the annual Kotte Sri Dalada Perahera pageant parades the streets with the President and the Prime Minister in attendance. The tremor experienced in several areas of Kandy confirmed not as an earthquake. The contest for the UNP leadership continues. A bountiful harvest reaped from cinnamon cultivations in the North Central province.
We move on to those and other stories in detail now. A look at local news first. A woman alleged to have been engaged in the drug trade over a period of time has been arrested in the Grand Pass area. The police state that over the past few days, close upon 10 million rupees have been transacted through her bank account. A search operation was carried out in the Colombo North Police Division at dawn today, during which the suspect was arrested. The police seized 20 grams of heroin and bank cards and passbooks indicating transactions of over 10 million rupees taking place over the past few days. Meanwhile, the Hangwala police have arrested two suspects in possession of 75 grams of heroin. It has been revealed that one suspect has been smuggling heroin in the Balangoda area from a lodge in Pahatgama, obtaining payments through Easy Cash. The suspect had allegedly placed small parcels of heroin at secret locations in the Balangoda town and had revealed the locations to his buyers after receiving the payments. In addition, the mastermind drug dealer who provided the suspect with heroin has also been arrested with 50 grams of heroin in his possession. The Navagamur police have arrested a suspect with a haul of Kerala cannabis valued at around 500,000 rupees in the Vallampitiya area. The suspect was in possession of 3 kilos of cannabis at the point of arrest. In addition, 4 grams of the narcotic substance ice, 3 luxury vehicles bearing fake number plates and cash amounting to over 69,000 rupees were seized by the police. The police state that the suspect had been involved with one of the 3 criminal gang members of Angoda Lokka. The police have recovered stolen furniture that were already sold for around 200,000 rupees in the Kiripadda area in Karandenia. The residences in concern had remained closed and a drug addict had reportedly been involved in the housebreaking incident. 2 cannabis chainas were identified in the Anna Ligala area in Koslanda in an operation carried out by the police special task force, during which 3 suspects were arrested. The police state that the grown cannabis is worth around 3 million rupees. A locally produced firearm assembled using high technology was found in the possession of one suspect. The Navy has apprehended 6 suspects with a stock of turmeric illegally imported from India valued at close upon 5 million rupees. In an operation carried out, 1,428 kilos of turmeric buried in the Kalpitiya Valley and Ippantivu Islands were discovered when they were being retransported. The total quantity of dry turmeric seized in the operations carried out by the Navy so far is 12,270 kilograms.
The final Perahera of the annual Sri Dalada Perahera pageant at the historic Sri Jayawardhanapura Kotte Rajamahavihara paraded the streets last night. President Gotabaya Rajapaksa presided over the event. The President and the Prime Minister arrived at the Kotte Rajamahavihara last evening and met with Mahanayaka of the Kotte Sri Kalyani Samagri Dharma Mahasangha Sabha, Venerable Ittapane Dhammalankara Thera, and obtained blessings. The casket of relics was placed in the repository by Minister Namal Rajapaksa. Venerable Ittapane Dhammalankara Thera delivered a special sermon, whilst religious rites were led by Chief Incumbent Venerable Alutnura Anuruddha Thera. Thereafter, the relic casket was placed upon the parading elephant by President Gotabaya Rajapaksa.
The Geological Surveys and Mines Bureau states that the unusual sound heard last night in the Anuragama area in the Kandy district was not an earthquake. However, minor damages to several houses have been reported due to the incident. Residents in the Anuragama, Singharagama and Mailapiti areas experienced an unusual sound at around 8:35 p.m. last night, followed by minor tremors. However, the Geological Surveys and Mines Bureau states that the tremor situation reported by the area residents is not registered on an earthquake measuring scale. Seismologists attached to the Geological Surveys and Mines Bureau, Nilmini Kaldana, stated that they liaised with the people of the area, and upon the details received, the geographical aspects of these areas will be studied to ascertain the cause of the incident.
Former UNP parliamentarian Ruwan Wijewardena met with Mahanayaka of the Malwatu chapter, Most Venerable Tibbatu Ave Sri Sumangala Thera, and obtained blessings this morning. The former MP Wijewardena engaged in a cordial discussion with the Thera, at which the leadership issue of the United National Party was discussed. The former UNP parliamentarian stated that in the days ahead, a final decision on the party leadership will be taken by the UNP Working Committee. Thereafter, he responded to questions put forward by media personnel. Former UNP parliamentarian Ruwan Wijewardena noted that the defeat experienced by the UNP is not perceived by him as a defeat but as an opportunity, as now the opportunity is open for the party to undergo a complete restructuring to win back the confidence of the UNP voters and the citizens of the country in order to bring about a transformational change. He expressed confidence that the party can be rebuilt and steered towards victory. Former MP Wijewardena also stated that UNP organizers across the country and UNP voters from various quarters have contacted him and requested of him to contest for the party leadership, as an opinion is taking shape in the country that the party needs a new leadership in the form of a youth leadership. Meanwhile, expressing views to the media while at Mahara, former parliamentarian Arjuna Ranatunga also stated that he is willing to accept the leadership of the party. Former parliamentarian Arjuna Ranatunga said that his proposal was that former Speaker Karu Jayasuriya be appointed to the leadership of the party and the other 7 nominees appointed to entrusted tasks on taking the party forward. The former MP further stated that the United National Party is common to all and not a party belonging to a single individual, and therefore he regrets certain sentiments such as the notion that a wealthy individual should be appointed as leader. He added that it is disappointing to note that such opinions are being voiced. Former parliamentarian Ranatunga pledged his fullest support to any strategy that takes forward the party without causing divisions in the party. In conclusion, former parliamentarian Ranatunga stated that should it be decided that the leadership of the party be placed in his hands, he is prepared to take the party forward.
The government plans to develop the Mattala Rajapaksa International Airport in future under the Green Airport concept with the objective of promoting tourism industry by increasing the number of flight operations. The Mattala Rajapaksa International Airport is the second international airport in the country and is equipped with ultra-modern facilities including the capacity to land any type of aircraft. And however, over the past 5 years, the Mattala Airport remained dysfunctional due to the inefficient rule of the former government. Once the incumbent government assumed power, development work of the Mattala Airport commenced speedily. Amidst the spread of the coronavirus, a large number of flights were operated from the Mattala Airport. Ministers Chamal Rajapaksa, Prasanna Ranatunga and Namal Rajapaksa and State Minister D.V. Chanaka conducted an observational visit at the Mattala Airport today. They discussed the development of the airport with the staff as well. Meanwhile, Minister Prasanna Ranatunga and State Minister D.V. Chanaka engaged in an observational tour of Sri Lanka's first dry zone botanical gardens at Mirijavilla in Hambantota this evening. The objective of this tour was to look into the possibility of upgrading this location as a tourist attraction. Tourist arrivals at the Mirijavilla Botanical Gardens are at a low level since the location was not developed during the previous government. Minister Prasanna Ranatunga stated that the botanical gardens will be developed with the addition of several facilities.
Farmers in the north-central province say that cinnamon cultivations which were widespread in the southern province can be successfully expanded in their province as well. Farmers of the Galenbindunubava area in Anuradhapura who have engaged in cinnamon cultivations are reaping their harvests these days. They state that a kilo of cinnamon can be sold for a high price of 2,700 rupees. What you see now is the cinnamon cultivation around the Upuldeniya village at Galenbindunubava, which extends up to 10 acres of cultivated land. The harvest can be expected after around 3 years of cultivating. The farmers say that cinnamon cultivations which are widespread in the southern province can be successfully expanded in their province as well. The farmers of the Upuldeni area point out that a net profit of 400,000 rupees can be earned if a gross profit of 800,000 rupees is earned from an acre of cinnamon cultivation. Meanwhile, the Department of Agro Exports states that if there are more farmers interested in engaging in cinnamon cultivations in Anuradhapura, the department is prepared to facilitate them.
Defence Secretary retired Major General Kamal Gunaratne states that the drug menace, the underworld and organised crimes will be totally eradicated from the country. He made this comment joining in a religious ceremony held at the Panvila Hena Vatta Munasingha Bodhiraja Mahavihara at Kaluthara yesterday. The portal to the Viharya and the wall with decorative cloud pattern were vested with the Viharya by the Defence Secretary. Renovations at the Viharya were carried out with the support of donors under the guidance of Chief Incumbent Venerable Magal Khande Sudat Thera. The event was presided over by Mahanayaka of the Sri Lanka Amarapura Sambuddha Shasanodaya Sangha Sabha Venerable Vaskadwe Mahinda Vansha Thera with a large number of devotees in attendance. Defence Secretary retired Major General Kamal Gunaratne said that all intelligence units that were provocative against each other were brought under the Defence Ministry, and with the contribution of these units a considerable share of work is being performed. He stated that every step will be taken to create an environment in which the people will never have to experience an unfortunate incident such as the Easter Sunday attacks. He further stated that all action can be taken from their end will be effected to eradicate drug smuggling, organised crimes, extorting bribes and underworld activities which have made the country not livable. The Defence Secretary stated that when the drug trade was rampant in the country, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa instructed the Defence Unit to eradicate. And in addition, the Defence Secretary yesterday stated that a trust fund will be created to speed up renovations at the Digavapi Raja Mahavihara. Renovations are planned to be completed within 3 years with the labour contribution of the Tri-Forces and Civil Security Department personnel. The Defence Secretary visited the Digavapi Raja Mahavihara and discussed regarding initiating renovation work. Defence Secretary retired Major General Kamal Gunaratne chairs the Presidential Task Force on conserving archaeological sites of the Eastern Province. The discussion was attended by Chief Incumbent of the Digavapi Raja Mahavihara, Venerable Mahavavasobita Thera, and the prelates of the Vihara, Commissioner of Archaeology, Professor Senaratti Sanayaka, Army Commander Lieutenant General Shavendra Silva, and representatives of the defence units.
Now, meanwhile, Minister Wimal Weerawansa, addressing a rally held in Piliyandala today, stated that it is necessary to bring the country under one law. Minister Wimal Weerawansa said that people voted this government to power with a two-thirds majority with a lot of hope. However, opposition voters are looking forward to upset the current stability. Minister Weerawansa pointed out that already R. Sambandhan has approached the US Embassy and appealed on behalf of the Tamil community, stating that the community is unsafe and therefore to ensure protection to the community. Minister Wimal Weerawansa alleges that the Tamil community were unsafe during the past 4.5 years. He says that if queried from the Tamil people themselves, they will say that they are more secure than before. Now, the total number of fully recovered COVID-19 patients in the country currently stands at 2,860. This is a percentage of 95.39. The number of patients undergoing further hospitalized treatment stands at 126, and this accounts for 4.2%. 3 COVID-19 positive cases were detected in the country today from amongst returnees from the Maldives. A total number of 639 COVID-19 contracted persons were detected from the cluster of the Kandakadu Treatment and Rehabilitation Center for Narcotic Addiction, out of which 616 patients have fully recovered. This accounts for 96.4%. The number of patients undergoing further hospitalized treatment from this cluster currently stands at 23, and this is a percentage of 3.59. Meanwhile, a group of 314 expatriate Sri Lankans who were stranded overseas due to the COVID-19 epidemic returned to the island today. They include 272 returnees from Dubai and 40 from Doha, Qatar. The returnees were subject to PCR testing at the Katanayak airport and sent to quarantine. Meanwhile, a meeting between Health Minister Rupavahini and acting Chinese ambassador to Sri Lanka Hu Wei was held at the ministry recently, at which the measures in place in Sri Lanka to prevent the spread of the COVID-19 virus and strengthening the related health services were discussed. The acting Chinese ambassador to Sri Lanka commended the support extended to his country when the people of his country were adversely affected by the pandemic. Health Minister Rupavahini stated that the example set by Chinese nationals residing in Sri Lanka was highly supportive in controlling the coronavirus spread in the country. And in more stories from home, the first Randoli Perahara of the historic Sabaragamuwa Maha Saman Devalaya paraded the streets last evening. The Perahara was made colourful with several cultural items of the upcountry, low-country and Sabaragamu traditions. The relic casket was paraded by the Kataragama Vasana Tusker, whilst the Kandula Tusker carried the casket of jewels of the deity Lord Saman. The Randoli Perahara will parade the streets for the second day tomorrow.
In the meantime, the government of China has expressed readiness to assist in the development of secondary education and vocational education in Sri Lanka. A discussion between Education Minister Professor G.L. Piris and acting Chinese ambassador to Sri Lanka Hu Wei took place recently, at which this offer was made. The discussion focused on how assistance from the Chinese government could be obtained for a long-term plan on educational development in the country. The discussion also focused on human resource development and vocational skills enhancement at the pharmaceuticals and tire factories planned at the proposed Hambantota Industrial and Investment Zone. At the discussion, the Chinese ambassador stated that his objective is to further strengthen mutual understanding between the two countries.
And that's all the stories we have for you tonight. We'll see you tomorrow at the very same time. Good night.
Good night.